Years of pro football, brought to you by Cool Brew, the original cold brew coffee since 1989. A coffee house in every bottle. By crispy, crunchy chicken, freshly made, perfectly Cajun. Acadian Ambulance, knowing life matters. Cox, bringing us closer. And by River Parish Disposal, our business stinks, but it's picking up. Pick up the $2 Louisiana Lottery Saints Go Fight Win Scratch Off and win up to $14,000. Must be at least 21 to purchase. Geico, saving you money on your car insurance has been in Geico's playbook for over 75 years. The Saints Point After is also brought to you by these local sponsors. Miller Lite, it's Miller time, official beer of the Saints. J&J Exterminating, Louisiana's largest independently owned pest control company. The Hood Automotive Group, everything automotive under one hood. Crispy, crunchy chicken, freshly made, perfectly Cajun. Oakland Heart Jewelers. Finer diamonds at the best possible price. Simply Compare. Sports Medicine Center of Thibodaux Regional, keeping you safe in the game. River Parish Disposal. Our business stinks, but it's picking up. Saints fans, time to get in the game. Call 504-260-1870 or join the Houdat Nation congregation on Facebook. Now, the founding father, Bobby Hebert, and Christian Garrick on the New Orleans Saints Radio Network. Bobby Hebert is the original, the founding father of the Houdat Nation. Miller Lite is the original, the founding father of light beer. Here's Bobby's rant, brought to you by Miller Lite. It's Miller time.
Good evening and welcome into the Point After here on the Community Coffee Saints Radio Network. The Saints win in the season finale over the Carolina Panthers, 33-7. They are 6-0 in the NFC South for the first time in the division history that a team has swept the division, and they also secure the number 2 seed in the NFC playoff picture with the Chicago Bears falling to the Green Bay Packers. Ironically, the Saints will play Chicago next week. We're waiting after the game tonight between Washington and Philadelphia as to when the Saints might play, whether it's Saturday or Sunday. But, Bobby, nonetheless, it's on to the postseason for New Orleans.
Well, it's hard to sweep your opponents in your division. Now, look at Carolina. They won the division three-peat. They won it 3 years in a row. They never swept the whole division. The Saints, they four-peated. This is the first time they ever have accomplished that. So it just shows you how hard it is, to beat Tampa Bay twice like they did, Atlanta and Carolina. But that's what makes the rivalries in the division so important. So that is a big feather in the Saints' cap, and hopefully you have success in the playoffs and you're on to the Super Bowl. Then you reflect on not only did you win the division, 4 seasons in a row, you also were the first to sweep the division in a season. I thought we could accomplish that because of us in the trenches, no matter who was running the football. We needed 82 yards rushing today to finish with the most yards rushing in a single season since 1983. To show you how long ago that was, Steve Court was playing. I think Steve might have been a rookie. It was way back in 1983 with Bum Phillips. We surpassed that rushing yards in a season. We needed 82. We got 156 today, and we're going to elaborate on that. Ty Montgomery is a big part of that. Like Deuce said, he didn't know if it'd be Ty Montgomery or Tony Hill Jr., but he said he thought somebody behind his offensive line could have that kind of production. You look at Ty Montgomery, 105 yards, but you have to look at what we average per carry. This is domination. Ty Montgomery is right under 6 yards, 5.8 yards a carry. Tony Hill, 5.9. So they both average 6 yards a carry. I should say Taysom Hill and Ty Montgomery both average 6 yards a carry. And then Jones Jr. was at like 4.5 yards a carry. So as a team, we had 30 rushing attempts. Christian, I was telling you, man, we got to get to 30 rushing attempts. Considering we got the lead, how are we going to set the tone? Well, we ended up with 30 rushing attempts, 156 yards, and a 5.2 yard average. So good for Sean Payton getting that done. Now, I said this early in the pregame, and Carolina's really been, since Sean Payton his tenure since 2006, Carolina's really been the toughest opponent within the division, even more than the Atlanta Falcons or Tampa Bay Buccaneers. It's been kind of a 500 ordeal. If you look at it now, the NFL loves this, like I said. Well, we convincingly are leading Carolina now 27-25. It was 26-25. So now we are 27 wins, 25 losses. But on the road, we are truly 500. Now we're 13-13. So when you look at playing at Charlotte in Carolina, it's 13 wins, 13 losses, but always, what have you done for me lately? Now, I would say the trifecta. Well, what would be the trifecta? The quad factor? When you say 4, is that right?
It would be quad, yeah, I guess. Quad factor.
The quad factor, because I never really put this in this mix. Now I'm gonna call it the quad factor.
All right, we're coining new terms.
When the Saints score 30 or more points on the Sean Payton, and primarily Drew Brees at the helm, and we scored 33 today, we win 86.5% of the time. So that's basically 9 out of 10 if you round it off. That bottom line is the Saints are winning. We just scored 30 points, no matter who you're playing. We now have 103 wins and 16 losses when we scored 30 or more points since 2006. Now, this was original trifecta before I added that in with 30 more points. When we force 3+ turnovers, 3+ takeaways, we get 3 takeaways or more. It doesn't matter if we turn it over, just by our defense being opportunistic. And today, couldn't we have had 7 picks? I mean, we had.
Yeah, Janoris Jenkins dropped the pick 6.
Pick 6, and he's amongst the best.
Malcolm Jenkins had an opportunity at another one.
I think that it's not pie in the sky. We ended up with 5 interceptions. I think we could have had 7. And, we ended up plus 5 turnover margin. Chris, you remember say, boy, can we get the double digit? I wish we'd be more heading into playoffs double digits. We were a +4 coming into the game. Well, now we're +9. Oh, so we're almost there. We are right there. So I like that trend heading that way.
The Saints have had 6 games this year with 2 interceptions or more, 2+ interceptions. That's best in the NFL with the Miami Dolphins.
Christian, I'm glad you mentioned that because the 6th game, 2+ interceptions, tied with the Dolphins to lead the league. So when you look at that, so we are opportunistic. Now, you never want to drop a pick, but overall, we've been outstanding in that category. Now you look at scoring defense. Obviously, we only gave it up 7 points. If you look, when we allowed 20 or fewer points, another convincing number. This has always been part of the trifecta, very fitting. We 86-8. Now, we did turn over the ball. Now, you might say, well, you always got to be lucky to not turn over at least once. But we're committing 0 turnovers under Sean Payton. We're now 49-6. That's not an opinion. That's what actually has occurred. You know what I liked about the game today also? Didn't the referees kind of let him play?
5 total penalties.
And what was the penalties at half? Let me see what they had at half. At half, they called 4. So they called 1 the second half. Don't you like to watch that kind of game? Now, Christian, I understand if you jump off sides, you jump off sides. To me, a game should be the ebb and flow, no matter what crew, 7 or 8 penalties, not 15 or double digits. I kind of like the way the game was called. Like I said, only 5 penalties. I thought the defense was outstanding on third down. This is playoff football. If you look in the first half, they were only 1 of 6. Do you know that they did not convert a third down in the second half? Well, they ended up being 1 of 9, 11%. That's as good. Sean Payton will say that. That's about as good as it gets.
And the Saints, conversely, on offense, were 6 of 14.
6 of 14.
Nearly 50%.
Yeah. That that's kind of almost where we were with our average. So that in itself was outstanding. They had the advantage of 5 minutes more time in possession at halftime. Well, we end up having the ball basically 2 minutes more than the Panthers when all was said and done. Look at Drew Brees compared to the Panthers quarterback room, and that being Walker and Bridgewater. Drew Brees, the quarterback rating of 117, their quarterback rating was 33. Teddy Bridgewater did not play the level he played the first game around, It was not so fast this time. Now I think
He was
got
banged
hurt.
up.
No, he got hurt. You could see. And P.J. Williams, it wasn't a nasty hit.
No.
I mean, it was just a good tackle, hitting him in the knee. And
Bobby, is it fair? Because the Saints had 2 stops on 4th down today, and they've been good on 4th down defense this year. They've had several of those moments where they've come up big on 4th. Can you count that as a turnover? So in essence, it's a turnover on downs. So would it be,
it'd be
like
more,
7 turnovers?
Yeah, you could say that in theory, but it's not like taking.
I know
the football
statistically
away.
it doesn't count.
But what it would be though, possession wise,
Yeah,
because it gives you another possession. Obviously,
Right.
And Sean Payton always talks about how many possessions we have as a team versus your opponent, and so yeah, I think in that regard, when you come up big on 4th down, it speaks volumes. Like I said, Drew Brees quarterback rating basically 117. Their quarterback room had a quarterback rating of 33. They were under 50%. In this day and age, think about that. They were 18 of 37. Now, you can look at 271 yards, but still they were 18 of 37, even though Samuel and DJ Moore, they were explosive. Samuel had a 17-yard average. Moore had a 20-yard average. They both were over 100 yards. But you have to look at overall bend but don't break. Opportunistic, you're taking away the football and throwing the football to only 50%. I thought Emmanuel Sanders has really stepped up, and he won't have to be a number 1 in the playoffs, especially with Michael Thomas coming back.
got him a nice $500,000 bonus today with his 60th reception.
60, and he had 9 catches, 63 yards. He had a touchdown, and he got targeted 9 times. And how about Callaway? 3 receptions. 51 yards, 17-yard average. I thought
that dude's sticking around. Okay, I'm not saying he's gonna be a star, but he's by his performance this year, he's given himself a chance to play in the league for 3, 4, 5 years.
Well, it seems more upside even than Traquan Smith. You know how Traquan started out, and then he's right here, and obviously Callaway's trying to get experience, but it seems like Callaway's going to pass up Traquan. I mean, I'm just being objective. It doesn't matter who's going to be the guy, but I just think Callaway has that kind of potential. On the defensive side, Christian, now, Mr. Haley. But people say, who? We have a Haley. Not Haley's
Not
Comet.
Charles Haley.
Not Charles Haley. Haley's Comet. No. The cornerback we activated from the practice squad.
Yeah, he was undrafted out of Penn State. Spent last year with the Giants, 12 games. He had some starting experience, and look what he did today. I thought he played really, really well. He's actually going to get our diamond in the rough performance of the game presented by Friend & Company Jewelers.
He comes off the practice squad and leads the team in tackles. Now he's going to get picked on, so the ball's around him, but he had 6 total tackles. He had a quarterback hurry, interception, a pass defended. So good for him. How can you not cheer for that individual? It just shows you the depth of the Saints team. How about Carl Granderson?
How about Ken Crawley?
Ken Crawley. All of those guys, we've heard of Crawley before because he's been on the roster, off the roster, and stuff, but just accepting the challenge. But I'm looking at Carl Granderson. 2 sacks, 2 quarterback hurries, 2 tackles for a loss. That's a guy I think that's definitely in the rotation in the future. And how about Trey Hendrickson? Christian, look at Trey Hendrickson and his contribution. So what now? Trey Hendrickson, my understanding, he had 13 and a half sacks. He had 1 quarterback hurry, a tackle for a loss. So going into today's game, you know what Trey Hendrickson now is tied with? I wonder what Aaron Donald did today, because the number 1 guy was T.J. Watt. And he sat out with the Steelers, but he was leading the NFL with 15 sacks. But Trey Hendrickson, I don't know what Aaron Donald did today, but 13 and a half sacks. That's either number 2 or number 3 in a National Football League. So when you look at right now, as us getting after the passer compared to what we did previously last year, we're not even close to what we did last year. Let me tell you why. This season, we have 44 sacks. I remember me and Mike Detellier was talking about this on the second guest. Okay, all of a sudden we had a big tick. You get a bunch of sacks. Where are we going to end up? So I don't think we're going to catch what we did last year.
Last year they were in the 50s, right?
Yeah. Okay. Hold
53?
on. Hold on. Oh, you close. But I said we should be I would say in the low 40s, and that's where it ended up. We got 44 sacks on the season. Last season, we had 51.
51.
Which was third best in the National Football League. But this season, even with 44, we're in the top 10. So we're still getting it done as far as sacks and that production, getting after the opposing quarterback. But, a big win. Where the Saints are at right now, I don't care if we were playing the Cardinals, the Bears, and it's the Bears now. Come on. You got to win, take care of business, and then you move on. Because realistically, to say the Bears were going to beat the Packers and we were going to beat Carolina and then Seattle beat San Francisco, yeah, if the stars were aligned in the best case scenario, we'd have had a bye. But, hey, it is what it is. But just take care of business next week, and then you're going to be on the even, playing field, so to speak, where Green Bay's at. But, hey, why not the Saints this season in the NFC?
Bobby, this one from Chase on Facebook, Chase Dumont. What's the latest on Michael Thomas, he asks.
I mean, I don't know. I think he's ready for the playoffs, ready to roll. I mean, now.
That's why can I answer?
Yeah, because you can answer that because I would say maybe for sure we had an extra week. You had the bye. But I think even without the bye, I mean, who's not ready? When you think Deontay Harris?
All of them are coming back.
All of them
should be back.
Patrick Robinson, Michael Thomas, they all coming back.
Patrick Robinson could have played this week, but they didn't need him to. They want him ready to go for the playoffs.
Ready to roll come playoff time. Marcus Williams.
Right.
With his ankle. So you can look at all those guys. I think they all pointed towards getting it done in the playoffs. Now, what I was a little concerned with, and I think Deuce mentioned it, and I think he was just blocking. Maybe he had a knee to the head or something. Taysom Hill. I mean, look how hard he runs. I hope he's not dealing with no concussion.
He's got a clear concussion protocol. Look, a lot's going to ride on even a day. Listen, even if the Saints play, I don't mean to cut you off, Bobby, but
yeah,
if the Saints play on Saturday, even a day could make a difference for even a guy like Taysom Hill. And, oh, by the way, Nick Easton left the game early, what looked to be another concussion. He's already had one this year or a couple this year. The more you have, Bobby, you know this, the more you have, the harder it is to start to recover from those concussions. It takes longer.
Well, you don't have time for your brain to heal. It's like a bruise. If you get a bruise on your arm and, it'll go away. But if somebody keeps hitting that bruise, then
you used to do me,
doesn't have time to heal. Yes. So you want it to heal. So, yeah, and Nick Eason, I don't know. Yeah, when I was looking, we weren't having success sometimes running the ball. It was kind of his man.
yeah,
who didn't block their man? That should have been a bigger play. And so I don't know. He might be dealing with head issues, but I like our offensive line a lot going forward. And I thought overall, when I think about Emmanuel Sanders, how about when you look at Jerry Cook? I mean, Jerry Cook only 4 catches, 43 yards, but one thing Jerry Cook has done this season, and fantasy people love this, he scored touchdowns for him. Right, he scored points. So I think Jerry Cook's, he's a little swagger. He might know his last hurrah with the Saints, so I think he can have a good postseason for New Orleans.
He's Bobby Hebert. I'm Christian Garrick. That's a wrap for the Miller Lite Bobby Hebert postgame rant. Your calls are next here on the Point After on the Community Coffee Saints Radio Network.
Today's horoscope brought to you by Geico.